Hola a todos. Hoy vamos a hablar sobre los complementos directos, or direct object pronouns. So first, what is a direct object? Well, in a sentence, a direct object is the object that receives the action of the verb. For example, if I say, he gave her flowers, okay? Or en español, él le regaló unas flores. Okay, so I have a couple of objects here. First, I have her, right? Her. She is the person receiving the flowers. So that is actually my indirect object pronoun. So my direct object is going to be the flowers, unas flores, because he gave what? He gave flowers. So when we're trying to figure out what the direct object is, we ask ourselves the question, ¿qué? Right? Sometimes we also ask the question ¿quién? Because my direct object can be a person. So we get to our verb and we ask ourselves ¿qué or quién? He gave what? He gave flowers. So flowers is my direct object. Let's do another example. I could say, for example, I bought milk. Que en español es compré leche. Okay, so my verb here is compré, I bought. Compré qué? What did I buy? ¿Qué compré? La leche. So leche becomes my direct object. Now, just as in English, we don't want to have to be repeating words all of the time. All right, so for example, if I have ¿dónde están las llaves? Okay, so ¿dónde están las llaves? What is it that I'm looking for? It would be las llaves. Okay, the keys. Where are the keys? ¿Dónde están las llaves? ¿Dónde están? Where are what? Las llaves. Therefore, that is my direct object. We don't want to be repeating that. I could say, vi las llaves en la mesa. No veo las llaves ahora. Okay, so we've got lots of repetition here of las llaves. And in all of these, las llaves is my direct object. So what can I do? Well, just like in English, we can replace this direct object with a pronoun. ¿Dónde están las llaves? Where are the keys? I saw them on the table. I don't see them now. So in Spanish, we have direct object pronouns. We also have indirect object pronouns, but that's another video. So what are our direct object pronouns? Well, we're going to come back to this here in just a second. My direct object pronouns are pretty simple. My direct object pronouns, if I'm talking about objects, are lo, la, los, and las. These are my basic direct object pronouns. So I'm going to use lo or la to say it. It can also represent him or her, respectively. Lo for him, la for her, if my direct object is a person. And then my second ones, los and las, are going to represent them. Once again, the them here could be an object or people. So lo or la if I'm talking about a singular object, los or las if I'm talking about a plural object or group. So how do I know which one to use? Well, typically, if I look at my direct object, it's going to tell me which one I need. For example, the last example I gave you was las llaves. I said, ¿Dónde están las llaves? So if I look right here, I've got las in my word. So my direct object pronoun is going to be las. Or if I am talking about el violín, yo vi el violín, then this el indicates to me that it's singular and masculine. So my direct object would be lo. If I was talking about washing los platos, lavé los platos, o lavé unos platos, right? Even if it's unos, that is telling me that this is masculine and plural, so therefore my direct object pronoun will be los. Or if I say, hablé con las chicas, okay, las chicas, once again, I know that it's feminine and plural, so therefore my direct object pronoun is going to be las. If I'm talking about myself, something like help me, my direct object pronoun is simply me, or helping you would be te, or us is nos. These are pronouns we have seen before, so I'm not going to talk about them as much. So now that we know what the direct object pronouns are, the next step is figuring out where to put them. Where am I going to put these in a sentence? Because we do not put them in the same place that we normally would in English. So let's come back to our example of ¿Dónde están las llaves? I'm obviously looking for las llaves. That is my direct object. So instead of repeating las llaves, las llaves, las llaves, I can replace this word with my direct object pronoun, which is simply going to be las. However, in Spanish, we're going to put that las in a different place. We're going to put that las in front of our verb. So I'm not going to say vi las llaves or vi las. I'm going to say las vi en la mesa. It goes in front of my verb, vi. And it goes right in front of my verb. So if I'm putting another word in front of my verb, such as no, I'm going to say no las veo ahora. ¿Dónde están las llaves? Where are the keys? Las vi en la mesa. I saw them on the table. No las veo ahora. I don't see them now. Think a little bit like Yoda. Them I saw on the table. Them I don't see now, right? So we put it in front of the verb. We can also put direct object pronouns at the end of a verb, but only in certain cases. One of those cases is a command. If I'm giving a command to someone, I'm going to put that direct object right at the end of the command, right? So a really good example of this one is ayúdame. Ayúdame. Me is my direct object pronoun representing me. Help me. Help who? Help me. So ayúdame, direct object pronoun. Another example of this would be dímelo. Lo is my direct object pronoun. Me here has become an indirect object. So dímelo, tell me. Dímelo. Needs an accent. Dímelo. We can also put direct objects on the end of an infinitive. We can either put it in front of the conjugated verb or at the end of the infinitive. For example, no lo vas a creer. You're not going to believe it. No lo vas a creer could also be no vas a creerlo. Okay? Now, sometimes these sound better one way as opposed to another way. For example, no vas a creerlo doesn't really sound right to me. No lo vas a creer sounds a lot better, but they are both technically correct. Okay? So we can put our direct object pronoun on the end of a command or on the end of an infinitive. One important note about the pronoun it is that we would never use the lo or the la or the los or the las as the subject of a sentence. So, for example, if I say it is pretty, right? It is pretty. I would not say la es bonita. This would be incredibly incorrect. Because remember in Spanish that my subject is always combined with my verb, which makes it optional. So we would never say la es bonita because la is a direct object pronoun. So it's not a subject. Direct object pronouns are not subjects. They are direct objects, right? So we can't use them as a subject. So we would never say la es bonita. We would just say es bonita because the it combines with my verb. Es bonita means it is pretty. Or I could say es interesante. It is interesting. I don't use lo, la, los, or las as a subject. It is not a subject. It is a direct object pronoun. Okay, so to recap quickly, direct objects are the object of the verb. They answer the question who or what with my verb. Direct object of the verb answering the question who or what. Direct objects are placed in front of a conjugated verb. They're placed in front of a conjugated verb or at the end, attached onto, right? Or on the end of a command, right? Like, háblame, talk to me. At the end of a command or infinitive. An infinitive is an unconjugated verb, right? So, vamos a hacerlo. We're going to do it. Vamos a hacerlo. At the end of an infinitive or on a command. And last but very not least, direct object pronouns are not subjects. They are not to be used as subjects. Espero que este video les haya ayudado. Don't forget to check my website for additional practice. Hasta luego.